Golden Age Radio is starting now. Subscribe to get future updates.
Hey everybody, get ready for some great shows. Starting out with Cavalcade of America, Lux Theater with some great Hollywood stars, Groucho Marx, one of the best comedians in history, and also followed by the hilarious Red Skelton.
The Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont. The story that will be told in music and drama this evening on the Cavalcade of America, presented by DuPont, is the story of a pioneer in American music, Edward McDowell. And we're privileged to have with us this evening Mrs. McDowell, widow of the composer-musician, who has given us much valuable assistance in the preparation of our story. Mrs. McDowell, won't you say a word to our audience?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to be here to see the dramatization of the life of my husband and my own unimportant life. And I know I'm going to watch it with a very great interest. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mrs. McDowell. Even in the latter years of the 19th century, the standing of musicians in America was still very doubtful. It remained for a quiet, retiring man to help the American artist achieve proper recognition in his own country. His name was Edward McDowell, and he was born in New York City in 1861. We meet him first, a sensitive boy of 12, practicing on his piano. He is interrupted by his grandfather, a hard-fisted old-school Quaker, who in his gruff way is genuinely fond of the boy.
Edward?
Oh, hello, Grandfather. I've just finished practicing.
Well, that's good. It's time I had a talk with you. Edward, what do you intend to do when you grow up?
Well, I know what I'd like to be, if I'm ever good enough.
Well, what is it you'd like?
I want to be a musician.
Oh, my boy, that's not a life. You must do some useful work in the world.
Yes, Grandfather.
Musician. I was afraid of it when your mother let that woman, that Teresa Carreño, in here to teach you to play the piano. Oh, but you are young. You'll forget such nonsense.
But, Grandfather, why isn't it all right to be a musician?
Edward, you come of God-fearing people who work. People who do things with their hands. That's what made this a great country.
But, Grandfather...
No real man with red blood in his veins would spend his time doing parlor tricks at the piano or sawing on a fiddle in the park.
But, Grandfather, that isn't what I want. I want to write music. Music like Beethoven's or Brahms. Only the way an American would write it.
Well, I must speak to your mother.
Oh, you can't change my mind, Grandfather.
Why, it's scandalous.
Listen, Grandfather. There's an organ grinder outside. Do you suppose he made up the tune he's playing? Oh, look! The monkey's holding a cup in his hand.
There's your musician's life, Edward. A monkey's life.
The man is happy. He's smiling.
Well, at least he works, grinding that organ to earn his living.
The boy Edward, bursting with talent, grows older, outstrips his teachers, and with the help of his mother goes to Europe to study with the great masters. At 14, he wins a full scholarship to National Conservatory at Paris, the first American to be so honored. For 3 years, he undergoes the most intensive training. Later, he travels to Germany for more study. And there, Joachim Raff arranges a meeting for the young lad of 19 with Europe's greatest piano virtuoso, Franz Liszt, who agrees to listen to something quite unheard of, a concerto by an American. On and on the young man played for the great master.
Well, Meister, that's all.
Mein Junge, I do not know what to say.
You understand, sir, I'm ashamed to play on a piano which your fingers have touched. My playing
I
is only...
like your playing. You have really studied the piano, but you play like a composer.
That is a fitting rebuke, sir.
Nein, it is a compliment. McDowell, I am learning. I see first an American, shy, timid. Then my ears hear a talent that is like Chopin, Schumann. And it is a new talent. I do not quite understand. I hear strains of this that I know, and that. But is it American music?
No, not yet. Many of those strains are borrowed from the masters I admire most.
Honest young man. My boy, when you go home, I think you will write some very great music.
Franz Liszt used his influence to have Edward McDowell play his concerto in Zurich, and it achieved a great success. Now his path crosses that of another young American, Marion Nevins, a Connecticut girl come to Europe to study with Clara Schumann, wife of the great musician Robert Schumann. Madame Schumann accepted her as a pupil, but was suddenly taken ill. Joachim Raff, interested in the talented young girl, insisted upon her taking lessons from McDowell. He sends Marion to see the young pianist-composer.
Oh, please sit down, Miss Nevins.
Thank you, Mr. McDowell.
Well, now tell me, why did you come to Europe to study music and end by asking lessons of an American?
Madame Schumann was taken ill, and Herr Raff sent me to you. He said you were young and that you spoke English, that you'd make a good teacher for me. In fact, he insisted that I study with you for a time.
Well, if Herr Raff insists, I suppose we must make the best of it. Both of us.
I suppose so.
You understand, Miss Nevins, that I'm a very busy man. I have lately been appointed professor of the piano at the Darmstadt Conservatory.
Tell me, just what does that mean?
Well, It means most of my pupils are young girls. They are receiving a complete education, you see, so they take a piano lesson from me, and then they rush off to take a lesson in cooking.
Oh, I see.
And then to change my social standing, I have to go each week to teach some young counts and countesses who usually go to sleep when I try to explain counterpoint.
Oh.
There's some sort of relations to Queen Victoria, just what, I don't know.
That must be fun.
Well, the best part of it is the fine dinner I always have there, but not with the family, of course.
I understand.
Perhaps you wonder why I'm here when there are plenty of good musicians at home under whom I might study. You see, there's something about Europe that draws many who hope to be artists.
I know. That's why I'm here, too. To study in these surroundings. To study with...
A poor, ignorant American.
Oh,
Do you know, Miss Nevins, I'm going back to America as soon as I think I've learned enough.
So?
I'm going back to make America see that there's a place for a serious musician, that musicians are neither fools nor idlers, that they have a high task to make more people alive to beauty.
But what of your own talent?
Well, what there is will thrive by hard work. A musician mustn't be a monk. I will write better American music if I work and teach and know the people at home, and write music when I can.
Yes, but there must be times free of people and worries for you to write your music.
Yes. But that would be a shame.
Perhaps it will happen, too.
You think so?
Yes.
Really, Miss Nevins, I suppose it's time to begin your first lesson. Suppose first you play for me.
It was a strange combination of circumstances that when Marion Nevins first visited Edward McDowell, she did not want to study the piano with him, neither did he wish to teach her. He listened while she played. She thought she played very well, but McDowell said, "You have a fine talent, but you can't play the piano yet. Someday you will." And that was the beginning of their friendship. In 1884, when Edward McDowell went back to America, he and Miss Nevins were married at her old home near New London, Connecticut. Through the years, he carried out his ideal, giving concerts, teaching, composing, and as his position became more secure, pointing the way for all American artists to win the faith and respect of their country. Among his writings shortly after his return was a short piece called Scotch Poem, which Don Voorhees and our DuPont Cavalcade Orchestra will play now. In 1896, the McDowells bought a deserted farmhouse situated on a 100-acre tract of land at Peterborough, New Hampshire. To help her husband with his composing, Mrs. McDowell had a small log cabin erected on the property at some distance from the main farmhouse in the woods. In it were a piano, a fireplace, a table, a chair. It was plain, with nothing to distract his attention, a place for work. The building of this first cabin was to have far-reaching results, not only upon McDowell himself, but upon other Americans, in every line of art. In it, McDowell did much of his best work. His place of relaxation was the music room of the remodeled farmhouse, Hillcrest. Mrs. McDowell sits at the piano in this music room.
Oh, Edward, you startled me.
Sorry. I'm sorry I was late coming home. I was talking with 2 or 3 of the Peterborough men. Good golfers, all of them.
I said, aren't you teaching them to waste their time? They're all businessmen, you know.
Waste their time at golf? Why do you think I gave that land to the town of golf links? So that a lot of people would get out in the open air and forget the daily drudgery of life.
Well, I hope you'll forgive one of those golfers for what he said last week about your music.
Well, what was that?
He said that when he heard music, he wanted to hear a tune. And that when he heard your music, he knew it was yours because it didn't have any tune.
I suppose that's true to some extent. And the things I'm really trying to do, there isn't always a dominant melody. But tell me, what were you playing when I came in?
This?
That's not bad. Did you write it?
You did.
I did?
I found it on a crumpled piece of paper that you'd thrown into the fireplace. I was just about to light it with a match.
Marion, you know you're not supposed to rescue those scraps of paper from the fire.
But, Edward...
My theory still holds that a man must keep up his technique of writing just as a musician must practice at his instrument.
I know. But I happened to glance at this one before I burned it. I liked the melody, so I kept it to show you.
Well, let me see it. I like it, too. That's not bad at all.
Then am I forgiven for rescuing it?
I'm sorry if I sounded cross. You know what gave me the idea for this?
Something you saw, as usual?
Uh-huh. The first thing I noticed this morning outside the door. A wild rose.
Yes. Yes. It sounds like a wild rose. Just as to a water lily sounds like those water lilies looked growing in that muddy pond.
Well, I wish others understood my inspiration as you do. The perfume of flowers, pictures like Ross Turner's Golden Galleon, the roar of the ocean. They all suggest music to me.
Edward, speaking of the ocean reminds me, have you had any word from the publishers about your sea pieces?
Oh, didn't I tell you I had a letter this morning?
No.
I guess your rescuing that music took it right out of my head. Marion, they've accepted my sea pieces.
Oh, Edward.
Isn't that splendid?
Oh, I'm glad.
Oh, I'm really a very lucky man. And lucky to have a place like this to work in. Come over here to the door. Look at that forest of ours. I can't imagine a finer place to work.
What a pity that other artists haven't a place like this.
Oh, Marion, I've been thinking about that. There's plenty of room here for more cabins like the one that you had built for me. A place to get away from the outside world and concentrate and work.
Now, you want to fill our woods more, grumpy artists?
Many more. My pupils and the young, eager people following the arts. They should come here. They should feel the night and the dawn here. They should, from time to time, be free from strain. Live near the smell of pine trees growing in the soil of their own land. And then they'll compose and write and paint, and no one will dare laugh at them as artists and Americans.
That was Nautilus, one of MacDowell's sea pieces. The orchestra will now play another selection from the same suite, To the Sea. Edward MacDowell died in early middle age, but his wife carried out their dream, and the celebrated Peterborough colony has been and is the haven of many artists in every line of artistic endeavor. Not only American music, but the sum of American art was enriched when the name of Edward MacDowell was added to the leaders of the Cavalcade of America.
Research chemistry is constantly at work exploring 1,000 fields in a tireless search for better products. This work involves many activities which at first glance might seem a far cry from the popular notion of what the chemist does. Take, for example, a major DuPont activity, pest control research. Chemists, entomologists, and pathologists all are engaged in the task of finding ways to control destructive insects, fungi, bacteria, weeds, and marine growths such as the barnacle. One phase of this DuPont research program, which has produced results all of us can see, is the recently developed treatment of lumber. Freshly cut lumber, as you know, is bright and clean. But stack this lumber in the yard, and soon it may begin to lose its beauty. Frequently, fungi or mold starts to work inside 36 hours. Before a week is over, you can see this growth in the form of blue streaks or blotches called sap stain or blue stain, which destroys the natural beauty of grain and color. This condition was of great concern to lumbermen everywhere, but chemistry went to work and found ways to solve this problem. DuPont perfected the chemical product now sold under the trademark Lignosand. Freshly cut boards are dipped in it, and the result is lumber protected from the discoloring ravages of fungi, lumber that retains its bright attractiveness, whether it be boards or large planks for building or the thin cuts used for strawberry boxes and crates. Another important contribution of the chemist to the life and usefulness of lumber is the development of a product called chromated zinc chloride. Wood impregnated under pressure with this chemical does not catch fire so easily. It resists decay and rot and offers considerable resistance to the destructive appetite of the termite. This wood treatment research is a good example of how the work of the chemist touches the daily lives of all of us as he improves existing products and creates new ones, a constant effort to produce better things for better living through chemistry. Transcontinental Journeys, a story comparing modern travel with the days of the covered wagon, will be heard next week at this same time when DuPont again presents the Cavalcade of America. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You are listening to Golden Age Radio, rumble.com/C/GAR, brought to you by G3PL.com.
From Hollywood, California, the Lux Radio Theater presents Robert Montgomery and Ida Lupino in The 39 Steps.
Lux presents Hollywood. For your loyalty to our products, Lux says thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and brings you another hour of entertainment direct from the film capital. Tonight, we star Robert Montgomery, Ida Lupino, Isabel Jewell, and Gene Lockhart, with Major C.E. Russell, formerly of the United States Intelligence Service, as the evening's special guest. Louis Silvers conducts the orchestra. And here beside me, our producer and your host. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cecil B. DeMille. Greetings from Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. The 39 Steps lead an old friend and a newcomer, Robert Montgomery and Ida Lupino, to the stage of the Lux Radio Theater. Since here last, Robert Montgomery's been rushing back and forth between two lots. One is the Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer studio, where with Rosalind Russell he's completed Live, Love, and Learn. The other is a lot in Beverly Hills, on which Bob has just finished building a new home with a beautiful library. And Bob is a man who really uses his library, for he's constantly seeking new screen material. President of the Screen Actors Guild, Bob devotes at least 3 nights a week to that organization. So this fall, he took time off to go to his farm in New York State for a few weeks of partridge and pheasant hunting. His favorite Hollywood sport is tennis, in which activity he's expert enough to be the frequent opponent of Sidney Wood, the ex-Davis Cup player. Bob is heard tonight as Richard Hannay in The 39 Steps, adapted from the Gaumont British film, which in turn was taken from the novel by John Buchan. Gaumont British will shortly release The Girl Was Young, starring Nova Pilbeam, and Derek DeMarney, directed by Alfred Hitchcock. Ida Lupino is a girl I've watched very closely and suggest that you do the same. For every Lupino seems destined for greatness in the theater. To American film audiences, she's the best-known representative of perhaps the oldest stage family in the world. 350 years ago, when acting was considered a crime in Italy, Alfredo Lupino, acrobat and troubadour, fled from Naples, turned gypsy, and eventually found welcome and fame in England. Ever since then, Lupinos have added to the excellence of England's entertainment. Ida's father is Stanley Lupino, among London's most popular comedians. She has a sister, 2 cousins, 3 uncles, and 5 aunts, all noted performers. While her mother is Connie Emerald, once a celebrated dancer. Along with 3.5 centuries of tradition, Ida has inherited a turned-up nose, violet eyes, and blonde hair. She's an excellent musician and painter, can speak the language of the deaf and dumb, whistles as well as a farm boy, likes to wear sneakers, and is a prize mimic. A highly entertaining miss, you meet her tonight in the role of Pamela. Isabel Jewell, featured in such hit films as Lost Horizon and Marked Woman, is heard as Annabella. And Gene Lockhart, top-flight character actor, back from the New York stage, is Mr. Memory. And now for the play. The Lux Radio Theater presents Robert Montgomery and Ida Lupino in The 39 Steps with Isabel Jewell and Gene Lockhart. A London music hall. The evening performance is on, and the theater is jammed to the doors. The audience is sat comfortably through the acrobats, the singers, and the whirlwind dancers. But now they're restless. The manager appears on the stage to announce the feature act. His hand is raised for silence.
Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen, with your kind permission, I now have the honor to present to you one of the most remarkable men in the world. I present Mr. Memory. Thank you. Every day this remarkable mentality commits 50 new facts to memory. 50, ladies and gentlemen. Facts from history, geography, newspapers, scientific books. Millions and millions of them. And he remembers them all. Test him, ladies and gentlemen, test him. Ask him any questions you like, and he will answer fully and freely. Mr. Memory. Thank you. Thank you. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, a question, please. A question from anyone in the audience.
Who won the Derby in 1921?
Mr. Jack Joel's Humanist. Steve Donahue up, won by a length, odd 6-1. Am I right, sir? Right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Question, please. Do not hesitate. Another question, please.
Who was the last British heavyweight champion?
Bob Fitzsimmons. He defeated Jim Corbett, heavyweight champion of America, at Carson City, Nevada, in October 1897. He was then 34 years of age. Am I right, sir? Right.
Mr. Memory, Mr. Memory, who won the football cup in 1926?
Would you mind repeating that question again, young man?
Who won the football cup in 1926?
Bolton Wanderers defeated Manchester City at Wembley by 3-1 in the presence of His Majesty the King. Am I right, sir?
Right
there. Thank you. Another question, please.
Hey, where's my old man been since last Tuesday?
Madam, he's been where you can't ask him silly questions. Will the lady in the gallery please confine her questions to those of a more serious nature? Thank you very much.
Memory.
What's the idea?
Who killed Cock Robin?
Gentlemen, no fighting. No fighting, please, gentlemen. Keep your seats. Everybody keep your seats. Don't crowd the aisles. Orchestra, play something. Quick, there'll be a panic. Play something.
Please let me out of here.
Let the lady through there. Will you stand back, please?
Oh, help me, please.
Hold on to my arm, miss. I'll get you out of this. Get back there. Clear the aisles there, will you? This way, miss. This way. Come on.
There you are, miss. Take a good deep breath.
Oh, thank you.
You all right?
Yes, sir. I had to get out of that theater, that's all.
A lot of people had that idea.
Oh, it wasn't the panic that frightened me. It was something else.
I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'm in terrible trouble. Will you help me?
Trouble? What kind of trouble?
I can't tell you here. Can we go someplace and talk?
Well, my flat is nearby.
Oh, let's go there. But hurry, please.
Go in, miss.
Thank you.
Now, if I can find this light switch.
Oh, no. Don't turn on the lights.
What?
Don't turn them on. It will be safer.
I'm afraid I don't...
Will you pull down the blinds, please?
Very well. This just puts me doubly in the dark. My name's Richard Hannay. Any objections to telling me yours?
No, it's Annabella Smith.
Smith? Not really.
Is there anything wrong with it?
No, just an unusual name. What's this all about? You said you were in trouble.
You don't believe me, do you?
I believe you're slightly hysterical.
If I am, I have good reason. I was the one who fired those shots in that theater tonight.
You? Why?
I had to do something to create a disturbance. I had to get away from there. There were 2 men in that theater who wanted to kill me.
Oh, come on.
Oh, you've got to believe me.
But why should anyone want to kill you?
Because I'm what you would call a professional spy.
A spy? Whom do you spy for?
Anyone who pays me.
I suppose you're here to dig up some big state secret.
No. I'm here to save a secret. For England.
Oh. Go on, please.
The agent of a certain foreign power is on the point of obtaining a secret vital to your air defense. I tracked 2 of his men to that music hall. Unfortunately, they recognized me. That's why they're after me now. You still don't believe me, do you?
No, frankly, I don't, Annabella.
Very well. If you will look out of that window, you will see 2 men standing across the street. Look, please do.
All right. I'll play your game a bit further.
Oh, don't let them see you. Well,
By Jove, you're right. 2 of them. They seem to be looking up here.
come away, please. Do you believe me now?
Well, I suppose I must.
I'm going to tell you something that's not very healthy to know. But now that they've followed me here, you're in it as much as I am.
Yeah, so it seems.
Have you ever heard of the 39 steps?
39 steps? No, what are they?
Never mind, but this much you must know. If those men are not stopped, it's only a matter of days, perhaps hours, before the secret is out of the country.
Why not call the police?
Because they wouldn't believe me any more than you did. And if they did believe me, how long do you think it would take them to get going? Those men are acting quickly. You don't know how clever their chief is. Clever and ruthless.
Well, what's his name?
He has a dozen names, and he can look like 100 people. But there's one thing he can't disguise. The top of the little finger on his right hand is missing. Oh,
Come on now, you're trembling.
I'm frightened.
Well, you needn't be. You're safe here, you know. What you need is a good night's rest.
Oh, yes, I do.
You can have my bedroom. I'll sleep on the couch here in the living room.
Are you sure you don't mind?
Sleeping on the couch? Well, I've done it dozens of times.
No. I mean, being in danger.
I'm not quite convinced of that yet. Is there anything I can get you?
Yes. Have you a map of Scotland, please?
A map of Scotland. I have an atlas over here somewhere. If I could... Oh, yes, here it is. You, going deer stalking or just plain hiking?
There's a man in Scotland I must see next if there is anything to be done.
I see. Are the 39 steps in Scotland?
Perhaps I'll tell you tomorrow. Good night, Mr. Henning.
Good night, Annabella. Pleasant dreams. Annabella. Annabella, was that you? Annabella, open that door. Will you open that door, or do I have to break it down? Annabella, where are you?
Oh,
Here, look at me. What's happened? What's the matter?
They came through the window. One of them had a knife.
Knife?
Oh, don't touch me.
But you're hurt. You're bleeding. Here, I'll call a doctor.
Oh, no, it's no use. Listen. You've got to stop those men. In a few days, they'll have the secret out of the country.
But how will I stop them?
Kenrich. The professor.
Kenrich?
Kenrich. Scotland.
What's there? Who is this professor? What's in Kenrich?
They're up. They'll get you. Just like they did me.
Annabella. Annabella. Good God.
Aberdeen Express, Edinburgh, Kirkcaldy, Dundee, Aberdeen Express.
Ticket to Kenrich, please.
One, sir?
Yes, one. Hurry, please.
One to Kinreach, Scotland. Here you are, sir.
Excuse me, is this seat taken?
Not by us, it ain't. Sit down, young fella.
Thank you.
I said, Jess, who won the 2 o'clock at Epsom?
Here it is. Bachelor Button, odd 7 to 4.
Ah, Bachelor Button, eh?
Hello, look at this. Another woman murdered in a West End flat.
Murdered, eh? Who was she?
A well-dressed woman of about 25 was found with a knife in her back. The tenant, Richard Hannay, is missing.
Blimey, if that ain't the blasted limit. Missing, eh?
The police are hot on the trail and watching with careful eye all points of departure from London.
Oh, so that was what they was a-doing, eh?
Who?
Scotland Yard. 2 plainclothes bobbies. I seen them get on this train. Asking plenty of questions they was, too.
Look here. Here's a picture of that N.A. chap.
Let's have a squint at him. Rum-looking lot, ain't he?
Excuse me.
Here, young fella, where you going? Don't you like that seat?
Oh, thank you. I just remembered.
In a bit of a hurry, wasn't he?
He was that. I say.
What?
I say.
Oh, I beg your pardon. This is a private compartment.
Oh, is it?
Yes, and it happens to be occupied.
Yeah, so I see. Very charmingly, too.
Well, what do you want, please?
Your hospitality for a short while.
Really? Well, I'm not interested. Now, will you please go?
I can't.
What?
It isn't safe.
Listen, are you going or shall I call the conductor?
No, don't do that.
Stop, you're hurting my wrist.
I'm sorry. Listen to me. I want your help.
My help?
I'm Richard Hannay.
Hannay? Why, you're the man the police...
Yes, but I'm innocent. I swear I'm innocent. Listen, you've got to help me. It's terribly important that I be free for the next few days. You will help me, won't you?
Yes. Yes, of course I will.
That's fine. I'm sorry if I hurt your wrist.
Oh, that's all right. You say the police are on this train looking for you?
Yes, that's why I forced my way in here.
Oh, I see. And just how am I supposed to help you?
Well, they're looking for a man traveling alone. If I stay here with you, they'll think we're together. We'll pose as man and wife. Then they won't pay any attention to us. They'll just pass us by.
How clever you are.
You'll do it?
Yes, of course.
Say, you're all right. What's your name?
Well, what's that got to do with it?
Nothing. I just wanted to know who my benefactress was, that's all.
No, I'm Pamela Stewart.
Pamela? Oh, that's rather pretty. Suits you.
Thank you.
There they are now. Remember, I'll sit here and pretend to read. You do the talking.
All right. Come in.
Excuse me. Have either of you seen a man pass here? Young fella, smooth-shaven?
Why, no. Wait, are you the police?
That's right, miss.
Then this is the man you want. He forced his way in here and told me his name was Richard Hannay.
Why, did I? Come here, you.
Let go of me.
Are you Richard Hannay? Well, speak up.
Yes. Thank you very much, Miss Stewart.
Well, you didn't expect me to harbor a murderer, did you?
Unfortunately, I did. And I am not a murderer.
We'll see about that. Come on, Hannay.
Certainly, gentlemen. I'll go with you willingly. In fact, I'll lead the way.
Grab him. He's gone. Here, get after him. Open that door.
Can't. He's holding it from the other side.
Here, let me try. Together now. 1, 2, 3. Get out of the way. Where is he? Where did he go?
Here he is down the passageway.
Stop him. Grab him before he gets to the vestibule.
Come back here, you. Come back, you. Stop.
Have you got him?
No, he's gone.
What?
He jumped off the train.
The fool. He's probably lying dead in a ditch.
No. The last I seen of him, he was on his 2 feet and running like a rabbit.
During our first intermission, and while waiting for Act 2 of the 39 Steps, starring Robert Montgomery and Ida Lupino, we'd like you to go with us to one of the millions of homes where Christmas secrets are in the air and listen in on a very interesting conversation.
Aunt Sally, come here. I want to see you alone.
More secrets, Betty? Well, the house is full of them.
Now the door's closed, we can talk. Aunt Sally, what can I give Mother for Christmas?
Did you ask her, dear?
Yes, and she just says all she wants from me is love and kisses.
Well, I did hear her say she needed more stockings. How about getting her some of the lovely sheer ones we saw in the store today?
But she always says sheer stockings are extravagant.
Not necessarily, dear. They wear very well if you're careful about washing. Just dip them in Lux suds every day. Lux keeps the silk nice and springy, so it doesn't break so easily into runs.
Then I'll tell you what. I'll buy some and tell Mother I'll Lux them for her every time she wears them. I'll buy a big box of Lux and give it to her with the stockings.
Now, that's a real Christmas gift, Betty.
Okay, I'll get some Lux Flakes right away.
And be sure to use nothing but Lux Flakes, dear. You know, rubbing stockings with a cake of soap is bad for them. And some soaps are strong, too harsh for delicate silk things.
Oh, thank you, Aunt Sally. You're an angel to help me. Mother's the most perplexing person on my list.
Stockings for Christmas and Lux Flakes for stockings. A perfect combination. We return now to Mr. DeMille and our play. Robert Montgomery, Ida Lupino, Isabel Jewell, and Jean Lockhart continue with the 39 Steps. 2 days have passed, and Richard Hannay, wanted for a murder he did not commit, is still at large. Determined to discover the secret of the 39 steps, he's made his way to Scotland. The driver of a donkey cart has given him a lift, and he's now on the last leg of the journey, the outskirts of the village of Kinreach.
Are you going to stay long in Kinreach, laddie?
Well, it all depends. I'm looking for work. You suppose I could find something?
I hae me doubts, laddie. Kinreach is a mighty small town. What do you do?
I'm a chauffeur.
Well, I'm thinking you'd better try somewhere else, then. What folks as need chauffeurs, and Kinreach has had them for years.
Oh, I see. But, aren't there any newcomers? I mean, somebody told me about...
Now, wait a minute. Come to think of it, I did hear something. About a retired professor moving into the big house on the edge of the moor.
A professor? Yes. Yes, that's it. I can try it anyhow.
Yes, sir?
I'd like to see the master, please.
What name shall I say?
He doesn't know my name, but you might ask him if he knows Annabella Smith.
Yes, sir. Will you mind waiting in
Is there
the...
someone for me, George?
Oh, yes, Professor.
How do you do?
How do you do? My name is Hammond. I've come from London. From Annabella Smith.
Oh. Well, do come in, please. You must be tired. We can talk in the library. My daughter's having an engagement party. I'd rather not disturb her.
Yes, of course.
Go right in, please.
Thank you.
Sit down. Will you have a drink?
No, thank you.
Well, now what did you want to see me about, Mr. Hannay?
Hannay? You know me?
Yes. I suppose it's safe to call you by your right name now. What about our mutual friend, Annabella?
She's been murdered.
I know. Poor girl. The police are looking for you.
Yes, but I didn't do it.
Oh, of course you didn't. But why come all this way to Scotland to tell me about it?
Well, I believe she hoped to come to see you about some air ministry secret. She was killed by a foreign agent who was trying to steal it.
Oh. Did she tell you what this foreign agent looked like?
No, she hadn't time. Oh, yes. There was one thing. She told me the top of his little finger is missing.
On which hand, Mr. Hannay?
On the left, I believe.
Are you sure it wasn't on the right?
It might have been.
Like on my hand, Mr. Hannay?
Good Lord. Then you're the one she...
The one she was trying to warn you against. The chief. You misunderstood her. She meant for you to kill me, not to bring me information.
Yes. Well, what are we going to do about it?
That's just the point. What are we going to do? You see, I live here as a respectable citizen. I should hate to have it known that I am not what I seem to be. You understand my position.
Oh, yes, quite.
What makes it doubly important that I shouldn't let you go is that I'm just about to transfer some very vital information out of the country.
What?
Oh, yes. I've got it already. I'm afraid poor Annabella would have been too late in any case.
Well, that's that, I suppose.
Yes. Well, what about it, Mr. Hannay?
What about what?
Yourself. It seems to me there's only one way out.
And what's that?
I've a small revolver here. Pretty little thing, isn't it? Supposing I left you alone with this. The newspapers could then announce tomorrow morning that the murderer had taken his own life.
You want me to kill myself?
Yes.
You're mad. I won't do it.
Then I'm afraid you leave me no alternative. You should have stayed in London, my friend. Oh, George.
Yes, Professor?
I want your help, please. There's a little job for us inside.
Hannay?
Yes. We'll carry him to the garage. When it gets dark, we can drop him off on the road somewhere.
Yes, sir.
Come in.
Where is he, sir?
Behind that table.
Yes, sir?
Yes. Pick him up and...
I'm sorry, sir, but there's no one here.
What?
Well, you can see for yourself.
But I shot him. The body was lying there on the floor.
The body, sir? Seems to have disappeared.
I standing in front of my car? You might have been killed.
Sorry, lady. I just wanted a lift. Would you mind... Well, Miss Stewart, how do you do?
You? Well, what are you doing
Richard
here?
Hannay is my name. I believe we've met. On a train, wasn't it?
Yes, I think so.
Yes. If I remember correctly, you handed me over to the police. You did, didn't you?
Oh, get away from me.
Oh, don't worry. I don't hold it against you, really.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Yes, isn't it? What are you doing in Kinreach?
I live here.
It's a charming place, isn't it? You know where the local police station is?
Oh, of course I do.
Will you take me there?
What?
The police station, in a hurry, please.
Certainly. Well, I suppose you know what you're doing.
Oh, yes. You see, I know who killed Annabella Smith.
Is that so?
The same man who shot me a few minutes ago.
Shot you?
Yes.
Where?
Right in the cigarette case. See? There's a hole in one side of it. Handy little thing, cigarette cases. If I hadn't been carrying it about in my vest pocket, the hole would have been in my chest.
And who was this arch-villain?
Gentleman called the professor.
Professor? Oh, now, you don't mean Professor Bartlett.
I didn't stop to inquire his last name.
Oh, that's very
come
funny.
now. It isn't as funny as that.
Do you actually mean you're going to the police with this story? That Professor Bartlett shot you? That he's the one who killed Annabella Smith?
Of course, why not?
Oh, and you expect them to believe it, I suppose.
Well, you don't, evidently.
No, and neither will they. Professor Bartlett, a murderer. Why, he's one of the best-liked men in the village and a very good friend of the sheriff's. I'm sure the sheriff will be interested in your story, Mr. Hannay.
Yes, I see your point. Hadn't occurred to me that... Stop the car, please. I'm getting out.
Oh, no, you're not.
Stop this car.
You said you wanted to go to the police. Well, that's just where you're going. And if you touch me or make a move to jump, I'll turn this car into a ditch.
Well, aren't you the sweet little thing?
Now, you just sit tight, Mr. Hannay, and don't make any sudden gestures. We're going rather fast.
You haven't the nerve, of course.
Haven't I? Just try me.
All right, I will.
Don't touch that brake.
Hang on. Where are you? You all right?
Quite all right, thank you.
You little fool, we might have been killed.
Hello there!
There's someone coming. Keep down.
Let go of me.
Hello!
Shut up.
Over here, Richard Hannay!
Why, you...
Richard
There they are.
Hannay!
Grab that man.
All right, Hannay, we've got you. And don't try any funny business. Stand up.
Yes, of course.
Are you the police?
We've been looking for you, honey. Put the bracelets on him, Joe.
Right you are. Put out your hand. There we are.
Now put out the other one on the girl.
Here, what are you doing?
We are handcuffing you to your friend here. Any objections?
Now see what you've done.
Oh, shut up. Listen, you can't do this. I don't even know this man.
You ride around the country with him in a car, but you don't know him. Of course you don't.
Yes, but I'm telling you,
Keep
I
your
don't.
mouth shut. All right, Joe. Take him to our car. It's a good day's work for us.
Will you please move over?
You talking to me?
Yes, I am.
Very well.
Ow, my wrist.
Well, you asked me to move, and if I move, you move with me. It's a scientific fact that when two people are handcuffed together...
Officer, must I be chained to this man?
Aye, you must. And keep quiet about it.
Wait a moment. Where are you taking us? This isn't the way to the sheriff's office.
Well, we're not exactly going to the sheriff's office. Eh, Joe?
Not exactly, no.
Well, where are we going?
Well, it's the real head we are going to see. The sheriff principal. Eh, Joe?
Aye, the sheriff principal.
I don't understand.
Would you like to have a small bet with me, Pamela Stewart?
Now, what do you mean?
I'll bet you 100 to 1 that the man they call the sheriff principal has the top joint of his little finger missing. Am I right, gentlemen?
You shut your mouth, young fellow, or I'll shut it for you. For good.
You see, Pamela? I win. They're taking us to your old friend, the professor. Charming gentleman, the professor. Best-liked man in the village and a personal friend.
Oh, be quiet, will you?
What are we stopping for?
Sheep. A whole flock of them across the road.
Well, blow your horn. Maybe that'll scare them.
Stubborn beast, they won't move an inch.
Well, come on. We'll have to get out and shoo them off.
Here, get on there, Shoo. Get on there.
Go on. Get out of the way. Go on.
Now's our chance. We'll make a run for it.
Run? How can we?
Come on, when I say jump, jump and run for your life.
Yes, but they'll catch us.
Go on, jump.
Hey, look, they're getting away.
Stand where you are.
There they go.
Give it to him.
They're shooting.
Come on, you little fool. Run for it.
Please, don't go so fast. You're hurting my wrist.
Shut up.
Oh, I can't go any further. I've lost my shoe.
Where?
Oh, back there.
Well, forget it. All right. Sit down. Sit down for a while.
You think we've lost those men?
Now, it's as black as pitch on this moor. They'll never find us now.
You know, this is all very silly. You can't escape. What chance have you got handcuffed to me?
Keep that question for your husband when you get one. Meanwhile, I'll admit that you're the white man's burden.
Oh, yes, I know, and I can't tell you how it comforts me. Oh, why don't you give yourself up?
To whom?
Oh, give yourself up to Scotland Yard.
Thank you, but it's a little impractical at the moment. Listen to me. I told you the truth on the train, and I'm telling it to you now. There's a dangerous conspiracy against this country, and I'm the only man who can stop it.
Ha-ha, I don't believe you.
All right, very well, then. I'm just a plain, common murderer who stabbed an innocent, defenseless woman in the back in Portland Place, London. I don't know how innocent you may be, but you're a woman, you're defenseless, and you're alone on a desolate moor in the dark. And you're manacled to a murderer who would stop at nothing to get you off his hands. If that's the story you prefer, have it, my lovely, and welcome.
Well, I'm not afraid of you.
Why not? For all you know, I murdered a woman. You listen to a bit of advice. From now on, you do everything I tell you to do, and do it quickly.
Oh, you wretched boy.
I admire your pluck, but you keep a civil tongue in your head. Otherwise, I might feel the next killing was a bit overdue. All right, on your feet now.
Well, where are we going?
I see some lights over that way. We'll do a little investigating.
Well, I won't go. I'm going to stay right here.
Pamela, are you forgetting I murdered a woman? Well?
Don't you strike me. I'll go. Say, what kind of a place do you think this is?
I don't know. Looks like an inn. Now, remember what I said. A civil tongue or else. And you back me up in everything I say or do. You understand?
Yeah.
Stay close to me and hold my hand. It'll hide the handcuffs. Good evening.
Good evening. Welcome to King's Head Tavern. And what can I do for you and the lady?
We had an accident with our car a few miles back.
Hey, that's too bad now. You want to stay the night, I suppose?
Yes, we do.
And will it be 2 separate rooms or one?
Oh, 2 separate
rooms. One room,
rooms.
please. One.
Well, which?
One, thank you.
Oh, one. And what's the name?
Hawkinson. Hawkinson, yes. Henry Hawkinson and Mrs. Hawkinson.
Well, come along, Mr. Hawkinson. The rooms are at the top of the landing.
Thank you. Nice place you have here.
It'll do. Here's the room.
Oh, thank you.
Well, good night to you.
Oh, wait. Now, wait, please, you mustn't go.
What's the matter, lass? Is there anything wrong?
Yes,
Of course
well,
there's nothing wrong. She wants to tell you something, that's all.
Yes, I wanted
Yes,
to...
You see, we're a runaway couple.
Ah, you know.
Yes. As a matter of fact, we've been running all night. If anyone inquires for us, you won't give us up, will you?
That I won't. I was young myself once. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night. Inside, Pamela.
Of all the outrageous things. Listen, you don't think I'm going to spend the night in this room with you?
Personally, I don't see how you can help yourself.
Stop jerking my arm.
I'm so sorry. I want to take my shoes off. My feet are tired. You better stand here by the fire and get warm. You'll be catching cold.
And if I did...
Stand by the fire.
Don't yell at me like that. I didn't ask to come with you.
And I didn't invite you. But here we are.
Well, aren't you afraid the men will find us?
I'm not thinking of that so much as some way to get out of these handcuffs.
Oh, I have a nail file in my pocket. Maybe that'll help.
That would be dandy. If you file 24 hours a day, 10 years from now, we might be free. Imagine, tied to you for 10 years. It's a horrible thought.
I've had enough of your insults. I'm going to tell the innkeeper the whole story.
You want me to hang for a murder I didn't commit?
As long as you hang, I don't care whether you committed it or not.
What a bloodthirsty creature you are. Haven't you any pity?
No.
Ow! What are you up to now?
I'm merely trying to file the handcuffs.
Well, don't jab me in the wrist that way. I don't like it.
I'm sorry.
You're going about it in a very amateurish fashion anyway. I can see you know nothing about filing handcuffs.
I'm sure you do. Tell me, how did you stop being a criminal?
So you want the story of my life. It's really very interesting.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
I was born a poor orphan boy. From the beginning, I hadn't a chance. Ouch!
I'm sorry it slipped.
Accidentally?
Accidentally. Go on, please.
I started by pilfering pennies out of other children's lockers at school. And a little pocket picking and car pinching. And at last, my efforts were rewarded, and I graduated into straight burglary.
With diploma?
With diploma.
Oh.
I killed my first man when I was 19. It scared me at first, but I soon got hardened to it. Lady, you wouldn't believe me if I told you.
It was your fault.
The whole thing was your fault.
My fault? How do you make that out?
If you hadn't have stopped the car for those blasted sheep, we'd have had the two of them in the professor's parlor right now.
We'd better have them there soon, is what I say. The professor was anxious about Hanny. Knows too much, he said. Get him.
Get him? We had him. And the girl, too.
You don't suppose they'd head in somewhere, do you? Stop at a tavern, I mean.
They might, in this weather.
There's a place about 4 miles back. King's Head Tavern, it's called.
King's Head Tavern. That'd be somewhere near where they gave us the slip. Turn around. You'll find out.
Right.
And if we see him again, blast you. Shoot straight.
I will, all right. You can depend upon that.
And then little by little, and year by year, I sunk lower and lower.
And you got better and better.
That's right. You might have read about me in the papers. They call me Hannay, the Cornish Bluebeard. And that, me lady, is the horrible story of my life.
Dear, dear, and you have such a nice face. How many people have you killed altogether?
9. If you don't watch the point on that nail file, it may be 10. Ouch!
At least I'm trying to do something.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to try and get some sleep. I haven't had a wink for 48 hours.
Well, I'm not in the least bit tired. Besides, I have to stay by the fire and get dry.
All right. You don't mind if I stretch out in the chair, do you?
No, not at all.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night. I don't see how you can sleep at a time like this. I said I don't see how you can sleep at a time like this.
I'm hardened to it. That's all. Hardened criminal to sleep any time.
Listen, did you hear that? There's a car out there. It just drove up, a car.
It's your imagination.
It's not my imagination. I heard a car. Oh, all right, if you don't care.
Don't care. Just don't care.
Oh, don't do that. What's the matter with you anyway?
Oh, I'm so sorry. You mustn't get frightened, Pamela. I have awful nightmares. I guess it's my conscience bothering me. Good night.
We pause for station identification. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System. We pause now between the scenes of the 39 Steps. Robert Montgomery and Ida Lupino will be back shortly when we raise the curtain on Act 3 in this play about spies. Spies may be roughly divided into 2 classes. There are the mercenary spies who traffic in state secrets, selling them for cash to the highest bidder. And there are patriots who risk their lives solely for the protection of their country, who receive the smallest monetary rewards, and whose names never get into the newspapers. The Richard Hannay of our play belongs to this second group, and so does tonight's guest, Major C.E. Russell of the United States Army, retired. Before this country entered the World War, Major Russell temporarily loaned his services to Scotland Yard as one of their American operatives. Back in the United States Army during the war, he served on a special staff in France. He later instructed our Army officers in the art of espionage and is the author of a standard military textbook on this subject. With such a background, Major, there should be no better authority to answer the question, just what are the qualifications that make a valuable spy?
The qualifications today, Mr. DeMille, are exactly the same as in biblical times, and the instructions which are taught follow very closely those which Moses gave to his men when he sent them forth to spy out the land of Canaan, to learn what the land contained, the strength of the enemy, if the people were content, and how strong were the walls. Then, as today, spies had to have powers of observation, of memory, and description. These are the 3 traits that must be developed in a capable espionage agent, and are the least developed of all human traits. In addition, he must have common sense, a good general education, an ability to take orders, and preferably a knowledge of foreign languages.
I've noticed that the opinion held of a spy varies greatly. Some people have only the greatest respect and admiration for a spy. Others consider them vicious, double-dealing scoundrels who stop at nothing to attain their end.
How well do I know that? But I think these people would change their minds if they only realized that spies are one of the greatest forces for world peace. I am, of course, referring to patriotic spies, not mercenaries. I believe that a patriotic spy, by keeping his country informed of military activity in other lands, enables his own nation to properly prepare itself, and a properly prepared nation is a nation seldom attacked. The war that they are ready for rarely comes.
If what I've observed is true, you soldiers who fight with your brains instead of bayonets are finding more and more women as your co-workers. How does a woman compare with a man as a spy?
Very favorably, up to one point. A woman's heart will rule her head much more quickly than a man's. Today, there is probably one woman to every 2 men in the world's espionage service. We've learned that if you want to make a man talk, send a pretty woman. And when we want to make a woman talk, we make her jealous. Both theories work amazingly well.
It would appear to me that spying is one activity which provides little or no room for modernization. Along with qualifications, I presume that methods have changed little since the days of Moses.
That's very true, Mr. DeMille. They remain essentially unchanged, but there have been radical technical changes in carrying out those essentials. For instance, there's a machine recently developed in this country so delicate and so accurate that it can etch an invisible secret message on a surface no larger than a grain of corn. Or, to employ a commodity with which perhaps you're more familiar, it could etch the map of an entire country on a single Lux flake. And that's probably the finest, thinnest, and most fragile thing I can think of for the moment.
I know that you can read through a flake of Lux, Major. It's actually only 2/1000th of an inch thick.
I see. Almost as amazing as this machine I'm speaking of. Lux flakes remind me of women, and women, in turn, recall an amazing spy story I encountered during the World War. It concerns a Swiss opera singer who volunteered in the French Red Cross as an entertainer. For 2 years, she made periodic visits to a home in Switzerland, each time using the same route over the French border. One day, she started to cross and found a new officer in charge. He took a good look at her and immediately ordered his women assistants to search her. They returned with the petticoat of this famous singer. Suspecting that it might contain invisible writing, the lieutenant called for hot irons and himself applied them to the petticoat. The heat revealed what had been invisibly written in lemon juice, the complete working drawings of a new French war tank. The reason the lieutenant had suspected Madame was that before the war, he had been a style designer in Paris. One of the first things he observed about the singer was that while she was dressed in the height of fashion, she wore a starched petticoat, and starched petticoats had been out of style for 10 years.
And to me, one of the truest utterances of the great French General Marshal Foch was his statement to a group of his espionage agents. You will die 1,000 deaths, he told them, before oblivion comes, while the man in the trenches dies but once.
And no better example can be found, Mr. DeMille, than that patriot of Revolutionary War, John Honeyman. Too old to carry arms, he became a confidential spy at Washington's urgent request and posed as a Tory. Despised by his wife and family, ostracized by his friends, he became a cattle buyer for the British Army. American soldiers were ordered to shoot him on sight, but John Honeyman kept his promise never to disclose his real identity. Once he allowed himself to be captured, knowing he might be shot, but there was a chance of being brought before Washington first. This fortunately happened, and Honeyman was able to disclose to Washington how some of his own men were on the verge of assassinating him by placing poison in the general's food. And it was John Honeyman who, on Christmas Eve, crossed the Delaware alone, entered Trenton, discovered the condition of the Hessian troops, and reported back to Washington on the other side. On Honeyman's unsupported testimony, Washington made his celebrated crossing, won his celebrated victory that turned the tide. Honeyman returned to his New Jersey home after the war, still an outcast, still an object of hate and scorn. His magnificent services were never announced until Washington himself made a special trip to Hackensack and publicly proclaimed him one of the greatest heroes of the American Revolution. His example will always remain a shining light to Americans who seek to serve in the silent, secret, and sometimes inglorious ways of espionage. I thank you.
Thank you, Major. That's very interesting. Very interesting. Once again, the 39 Steps, starring Robert Montgomery and Ida Lupino, with Isabel Jewell and Gene Lockhart. It's early the following morning. Richard Hannay stirs restlessly in the armchair and rubs his eyes sleepily. Suddenly, he jumps from the chair and stands in the middle of the room, staring down at the handcuffs which are dangling from his wrist. Pamela Stewart, on the other side of the room, smiles cheerily.
Good morning, Mr. Hawkinson. Looking rather dazed this morning.
How did you get free?
Oh, very simple. A little matter of work while you had your nightmares.
I suppose you filed the handcuffs.
No, darling, I picked the lock. I was trying to do the same for you, but the file broke.
Say, what's wrong with you?
Oh, nothing that I know of. Oh, you mean my shoes? Yes, they're rather large, aren't they? I borrowed them from the innkeeper's wife.
Oh, no. It's not the shoes. Why are you being so nice? You don't feel ill or anything, do you?
No, why should I?
Why didn't you leave? You were very anxious, too, if I remember correctly.
Well, something happened last night that convinced me you've been telling the truth.
May I ask what earthquake caused your mind to work at last?
When I got free, I went downstairs. That car you said I imagined belonged to our pursuers. They were sitting downstairs when I got there.
Did they see you?
No, I hid behind the counter. But they asked the innkeeper about us.
What did he say?
Said he hadn't seen us. Then they ordered something to eat. And while they were eating, they talked a lot about the 39 steps.
39 steps.
Oh, don't ask me what it means because I don't know.
Anything else?
Well, they said the professor was clearing out of the country.
Then he has got the secret. Did they say how soon he was leaving?
No, but they did say that he was going to London first to pick up someone at a music hall.
39 steps. London Music Hall. It doesn't make any sense. Which room are these men in?
Oh, they left.
When?
Oh, about 4 or 5 hours ago.
And you let them go after hearing what they said? Oh, you button-headed little idiot, you.
Don't you speak to me like that.
My dear girl, I'm accused of murder. The only way I can clear myself is to expose those spies.
Then why don't you go to Scotland Yard?
What's the use? You said yourself that no one would believe me.
Well, then why don't I go to Scotland Yard?
Why not? They'd listen to you.
Of course they would.
Come on, we'll get the next train for London.
You wish to order now, sir?
No, thank you. I'm waiting for someone.
I beg your pardon, sir. Your face looks familiar. Are you in the cinema?
No, I'm not. Bring me a bottle of ale, will you?
Very good, sir.
Oh, make that 2, please.
Yes, miss.
Pamela, sit down.
Did you think I was never coming?
Not exactly, but I was getting nervous waiting. Well, what happened? Did you go to Scotland Yard?
Yes.
Well?
Prepare yourself for a shock.
Why?
They've checked every possible channel. The Air Ministry are positive that no papers are missing that would be of any possible use to spies.
But that's incredible. Are you sure?
Well, that's exactly what they said.
I don't know what to make of it.
I think you've been tricked.
Well, certainly is all very bewildering.
Oh, I'm sorry, Richard. Really, I am. Look, I think you better go now.
Go where?
Oh, any place. Leave the country. I'll help you.
You?
Oh, I know it sounds funny, but somehow I couldn't bear the thought of them catching you again.
Why, Pamela?
Oh, I don't know. I guess I've just changed my mind about you, that's all. Of course, you're as vain as a peacock, and I couldn't stand you for any length of time, but you're not so bad.
Well, you're not so bad either. If I weren't in this jam, I'd...
What?
Nothing. Come on, let's get out of here.
No, you better stay. I'll run and get you a ticket for Liverpool. There ought to be a boat train
Pamela.
soon. Well, what's the matter? What are you staring at?
Look out the window. Do you see that billboard across the street?
Yes. Is there anything strange about it?
A list of acts playing this week at the Palladium. The feature attraction is Mr. Memory.
But I don't understand.
Come on, we're going to get out of here.
Well, where are we going
to the
now?
Palladium.
But why?
I don't know, but we're going just the same.
Here are your seats, sir. First 2 on the aisle.
Thank you. Sit down, Pamela.
This is silly. In the first place, the show's almost over. If anyone sees you here, what are you looking for?
Be quiet. I'm just playing a hunch, that's all.
Oh, you're playing the fool if you ask me.
Ladies and gentlemen, with your kind permission and attention, I now have the honor to present to you one of the most remarkable men in the world. I present Mr. Memory.
Pamela.
What?
Look at that right-hand box nearest the stage. You see that small man sitting in front?
Why, yes,
It's the professor himself.
You better get out of here before they see you.
No. Sit down. Listen.
Every day he commits to memory 50 new facts, and he remembers every one of them. Facts from history, from geography, from newspapers, from scientific textbooks.
Pamela.
Yes.
I've got it. I've got it.
What?
Don't you see the details of this Air Ministry secret have been borrowed, memorized by Mr. Memory, and then put back again before anyone could know?
Why, that's it. Of course it is.
Pardon me, sir, but there's a gentleman who would like to speak to you.
Who, me?
You, Richard Annie?
Well,
You're under arrest.
Wait, officer. Listen, there's something here you ought to know.
Cavalcade, Annie. Come along to us.
Yes, but you must listen to him. That man on the stage can...
Come on, we don't want any excitement here.
All right, I'll go quietly.
Richard, you're not.
Distance from Montreal,
Pamela.
1,424 miles. Am I right? Thank you. Again, please. Do not hesitate. Your question, please.
Wait a minute. Mr. Memory, what are the 39 steps? Come on, answer up. What are the 39 steps?
The 39 steps. The 39 steps is a secret organization headed by Professor...
There's your man up there in the box. He's the one who shot him.
Stop that man!
Stop that man! Stop him! Stop him! I want to see Mr. Memory, please. Where's his dressing room?
Number 5, but you can't go in now.
Well, I'm afraid we have to. Detective, have you a pencil and a piece of paper?
Yes?
I want you to write down everything you hear.
But listen here,
Do as he tells you, please.
I'm going to prove to you that the man who shot Memory is the murderer of Annabella Smith.
What is it?
We want to see Mr. Memory. How is he, Doctor?
Very bad. Did they get the man who shot him?
Yeah, we got him all right. He'll hang for it, too.
Oh. Mr. Memory. Mr. Memory, can you hear me?
Yes?
Mr. Memory, there's something I'd like you to tell us, please.
Yes?
What was the secret formula you were taking abroad?
Will it be all right, my telling you? It was a big job learning it. The biggest I've ever tackled. I don't want to throw it away, sir.
It will be quite all right.
The first feature of the new engine is its greatly increased ratio of compression, represented by the formula 1 minus 1 over R to the power of gamma minus 1, where R represents the ratio of compression and gamma dimensions of cylinders diameter. This device renders the engine completely silent. The exhaust gases impinging on a series, entirely eliminating all sound. Am I right? Am I right, sir?
That's quite right, old chap.
Thank you, sir. I'm glad it's off my mind. At last.
Memory. Mr. Memory.
Richard, what is it?
The Air Ministry's secret will never leave England.
This way, please. We can pick up the police car on the corner.
The police car? Where are you taking us?
The Scotland Yard, of course.
Scotland Yard?
But you can't do that. You heard what that man said. He didn't kill anybody.
Easy now, easy. He'll be all right. All we want is to put the story on the record.
Oh, that's better.
You've nothing to worry about at all. He'll be a free man in her now, Mrs. Hannay.
Hannay? Well, what are you talking about?
Well,
Mrs.
I'm
Hannay.
sorry. I thought...
That would be just fine, that would. We were together for one day, and we fought for 24 hours.
20? You were asleep 4 hours.
Can you imagine what it would be like? Fight for breakfast, fight for lunch, fight for dinner. One long, drawn-out battle for the next 30 or 40 years.
Oh, 30 or 40 years. Do you think we could keep it up that long? I mean, really.
Well, we could try.
Robert Montgomery and Ida Lupino have completed the 39 steps, but they'll take a 40th when they return later to the microphone. First, a word from Melville Ruick.
Thank you, Mr. DeMille. Just a moment for a suggestion to the women who begin when winter comes to be bothered by rough, chapped hands. Perhaps they don't realize that the trouble may start in the simple daily task of washing the dishes. Here's the reason. There are oils in your skin which give it a protective coating against cold weather outdoors and steam heat indoors. If you use a strong soap in the dishpan, these oils are dried up. Your skin gets rough and red. To protect these beauty oils, simply change from your harsh soap to Lux Flakes. Women find the difference between Lux and ordinary soaps for dishes almost unbelievable. They feel it the moment they put their hands in the dishpan. There is no sting in the very gentle, soothing Lux suds. Almost at once, your hands will begin to look smoother and whiter. Begin tomorrow to keep your hands lovely by washing dishes with Lux Flakes. I turn you back now to Mr. DeMille.
At the moment, both our stars, Robert Montgomery and Ida Lupino, are having a breathing spell between pictures. Bob is back after 6 weeks in the East. And Ida's been indulging in her favorite avocation, composing music.
And not just simple little ballads, Mr. DeMille, but the real thing. Not so long ago, the Los Angeles Philharmonic Orchestra played Ida's symphony, Aladdin and the Lamp.
Oh, thanks for the nice boost, Bob. You know, composing's really very exciting, although I had no thought of attempting it until 2 years ago. It was just about this time of year. I was riding in a taxicab down Hollywood Boulevard. The street was crowded with Christmas traffic, and all of a sudden the noise seemed to take the form and tempo of a melody. Well, I rushed right home, worked straight through till morning, and there it was, and I've been at it ever since.
What's your latest composition?
Something I've just sent to London, the score and book for a musical comedy. Look, I hope no one's going to get the impression that I think I'm a great musician. In fact, I know so little that I often use a code to take the place of notes and musical symbols until I've time to figure out what I'm trying to do. I use the letters of the alphabet for a code. If you ever saw one of my scores, you'd think someone had spilled alphabet soup on an orchestration sheet. But I think our listeners are a lot more interested in what Bob's next picture is going to be than in my music. So, Bob, suppose you tell them.
Well, if I knew, I'd be glad to. I'm having story difficulties at the moment.
Don't we all? Can't you find the right one?
Well, the trouble is I found the right two. And MGM and I can't make up our minds which will make the better picture. Number one is a light comedy, the type of story that audiences have been favoring so much lately. Plenty of laughs and sophistication. Number two, also a modern story, presents a definite problem of living that any one of us might have to face. A very interesting story for an actor. But the question is, will it interest an audience?
And in the meantime, you're perched on a fence, eh?
Exactly. And since that's not a very comfortable spot to be in, perhaps the Lux Radio Theater audience will help me out. I'd really be very grateful if you'd drop a card or a note to Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, to me, or the Lux Radio Theater, and let us know which of these two types of pictures you prefer to see. A light comedy or a story with a social problem. In the meantime, my thanks and good night.
Good night, Mr. DeMille.
Good night, Ida. Good night, Bob.
Thank you, Robert Montgomery and Ida Lupino. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your announcer, Melville Ruick. Mr. DeMille returns in just a moment with news of next week's play and stars. In our cast tonight were Leonard Mudie as Professor Bartlett, Reginald Sheffield, Herbert Evans, and Keith Kenneth as detectives, Lionel Belmore as innkeeper, Vernon Steele as cart driver, Edgar Norton as manager of the music hall, Eric Wilton and Raymond Lawrence as Cockney travelers, Ward Lane as butler, Eric Snowden and Norman Ainsley as Scotchman, Sybil Harris as a rowdy, and Phyllis Coughlin as a woman. Louis Silvers appeared through courtesy of 20th Century Fox Studios, where he was in charge of music for the new picture Love and Hisses. And now, our producer.
One of the most glamorous beauties of the screen that the screen has ever known appears in the Lux Radio Theater next Monday night. Marlene Dietrich. Our play is taken from the highly successful motion picture in which Miss Dietrich starred, The Song of Songs, the love story of a Viennese girl and the three men who tried to win her. Miss Dietrich will be surrounded by an all-star cast headed by Douglas Fairbanks, Jr., with Lionel Atwill. Our sponsors, the makers of Lux Flakes, join me in inviting you to be with us again next Monday night when the Lux Radio Theater presents Marlene Dietrich, Douglas Fairbanks, Jr., and Lionel Atwill in The Song of Songs. The special guest of the evening will be the creator of Mickey Mouse and the Silly Symphonies, Mr. Walt Disney. This is Cecil B. DeMille saying good night to you from Hollywood. This is the Columbia Broadcasting System.
You are listening to Golden Age Radio, rumble.com/C/GAR. Brought to you by G3PL.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, the secret word tonight is house. House.
Really?
You bet your life. The more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers of America present Groucho Marx in You Bet Your Life, the comedy quiz series produced and transcribed from Hollywood. And here he is, the one, the only...
That's me, the Queen of the May. Well, here I am again with $5,500 for one of our couples, George. It's a lot of money, huh?
Sure is. Groucho, the first contestants to try.
Groucho is not the first contestant.
No. The first contestants to try.
If I was a contestant, I'd be standing over there and you'd be sitting here.
I wish you were. The first contestants.
And you're not alone either, George.
What I was getting at.
You're drunk with power,
The first contestants to try for the $5,500 question tonight were selected from our studio audience just before we went on the air.
How interesting.
And here they come right now, Mr. Irving Humphrey and Miss Evelyn D. Smith. Come in and meet Groucho Marx.
Well, welcome, kids, for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Mr. Irving Humphrey and Miss Evelyn Smith, eh? Mr. Humphrey, where are you from?
Philadelphia originally, West Philadelphia.
West Philadelphia,
yes.
Huh? Is that Philadelphia?
Yes, it is, west of the river.
Oh, I see, huh? Did you have many a scrapple there in Philadelphia?
And pepper pot soup.
And pepper pot soup, I see. And are you married?
Yes, I am.
I see. Miss Eveline Smith, is that right?
My name is not Smith, it's D. Smith.
Oh, it's D. Smith, eh? How do you spell it?
D''S Smith. D' Smith.
Evelyn, let's not be so formal. I'll call you Mr. Smith, eh?
All right.
What sort of work do you do?
I'm a double.
Suppose I'm slipping. I should have noticed it right away, I guess. What kind of a double? Double Dynamite or Double Trouble? By the way, did you see Double Dynamite, the movie I was in with Jane Russell?
Not as yet.
Well, you ought to see it. It's playing around. You ought to see it. It's pretty good.
All right.
Don't forget now.
No, I shan't.
Meet you in the balcony. Now, what kind of trouble do you get into, Evelyn?
No, I'm a motion picture stunt girl double.
You don't look stunted.
I do all the fighting and the falling off cliffs and turning over cars and crashing planes and driving motorcycles and all the stunts and...
Do you remember your first stunt?
Yes.
What'd you do?
Well, it was for a picture called Torpedo Boat. I had to crash this speedboat into rocks. And
real rocks?
Real rocks, just down at Cabrillo Beach. And so this was my first job, and I wanted to make a good impression, so I really crashed the boat, and it threw me onto the sand.
I crashed a party the other night. I never crashed a boat. It threw you into the sand?
Threw me in the sand. I broke 2 ribs on my first job.
Is that so? Well, what happened? Did they send for a doctor?
No, they stood around and shook hands and congratulated themselves on getting such a good shot.
That's those Hollywood directors, kindly, thoughtful, and solicitous. Well, tell us some more about your work. You must have had a lot of unusual experiences.
Well, I can remember one time when I drowned 12 times for Betty Davis in Stolen Life.
And what was Betty doing while you were drowning for her?
Well, I'm not sure, but I think she was having her picture taking, getting artificial respiration.
While you were drowning? Well, if one of your stars should happen to expect the stalk someday, my advice to you is keep away from the hospital. Well, I better talk to you for a while, I think. Mr. Humphrey, you certainly have an interesting occupation. What is it?
I'm a tree surgeon.
Well, tell me, Doc, are you in practice for yourself, or do you just have a branch office somewhere?
No, I have my own business. I do business under the name of Humphrey Tree Surgery.
I see. Well, how do you get your customers when the trees want you? Do they just wave a limb at you, or...?
No, we have our ordinary customers, but once in a while we get emergency calls.
Emergency calls? You mean an oak tree calls at 3 in the morning and says, hurry, Doc, we're expecting a little acorn? Why, a tree could go nuts under those conditions. What kind of emergencies can a tree possibly have?
Well, when we have windstorms, rainstorms, and whatnot, it usually blows over trees and they lean against wires or buildings and they have to be removed.
I see.
Taken
Well,
care of.
suppose this patient is in a bad way. What do you do? Do you give it penicillin?
No, usually we cut it up for firewood.
That's a nice way to treat a patient. Certainly made a fuel out of him. Well, I'd like to talk to you two some more, but now I want to give you a chance to earn some money, real money. In just 1 minute, you're going to play You Bet Your Life for a chance at the $5,500 question. But first, I want you to pay close attention to this.
Take the 5-mile trial.
Take the 5-mile trial.
Your DeSoto Plymouth dealer invites you to take the 5-mile trial in a new DeSoto Fire Dome 8 or the DeSoto Power Master 6. He wants you to get behind the wheel yourself so you can actually feel the surging power of the exciting new 160 horsepower Fire Dome V8 engine that gives you more power from every drop of gas. Yes, acceleration and power you've never known before, and on regular gasoline. In your 5-mile trial, you'll learn what DeSoto full power steering means. Not partial, but full power steering that works for you all the time. When you're parking, even when your car is at an absolute standstill, DeSoto full power steering lets you turn the wheel with one finger. You'll discover new power brakes, Oriflow shock absorbers, and a host of other exciting features that make the new DeSoto the greatest value on the road today. So stop in at your DeSoto Plymouth dealers and ask to take the 5-mile trial in either the mighty new 160 horsepower DeSoto Fire Dome 8 or the handsome new DeSoto Power Master 6. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth, the low-priced car most like high-priced cars.
All right, now let's see how you work together as a team. George, explain the rules, George.
All right. You bet as much of your $20 as you want on each of 4 questions, and the couple that earns the most money gets a chance at the $5,500 DeSoto Plymouth question later in the show.
Now, here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. From our list of 20 categories, you selected Western tunes as your category. Now, here's your first question. How much will you bet?
1975.
Good.
1975, huh? You've been watching this show. What is the name of this Western melody? Play it, Jerry.
Wagon wheels.
What is it?
Wagon wheel.
Wagon wheels is right.
Well, you're on your way.
Only a tree surgeon would know wagon wheels.
You're on your way. You have $39.75.
Remember, you're going for $5,500 tonight. Now, how much of the $39.75 you're going to try?
39.
Give me the title of this song. 39?
50.
How much?
39.50.
39.50. All right. Give me the title of this song. Play, Mr. Fielding. Twilight on the Trail is right.
You now have $79.25.
And here's your third question. How much are you going to bet?
79.
79. Let's see if you can identify this one. Okay, Jerry.
Red River Valley.
Red River Valley.
Red River Valley is right.
You're now flying to $158.25.
And here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much are you going to bet?
158.
158. What is the name of this song? Last roundup is right. Play that.
But you still wind up with $316.25.
That ain't hay.
That's right.
Well, thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
Thank you.
Groucho, we invited some beauty operators to the program tonight, and just before we went on the air, our studio audience selected Roberta Tate. Her partner is a housewife, Mrs. Teddy Rochers. Ladies, meet Groucho Marx. You're right here. Right in here.
How do you do?
That's it.
Welcome, girls, to You Bet Your Life. Say the secret word and divide $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Miss Roberta Tate and Mrs. Teddy Roaches. Where are you from, Roberta?
Oh, I'm a native.
You native what? Native son?
Native daughter.
Oh, you're a girl, huh?
It's amazing.
Yes. Well, it isn't amazing, but it's certainly amusing. You're a beauty operator?
That's right.
Well, so am I. Just show me a beauty and I'll start operating. Are you married?
No, I'm not.
Now you're talking, kid. I'll start operating right after the show. But what are some of today's popular hairstyles? Could you bring me up to date?
Yes. I think that one of the most popular today is the poodle hairstyle.
What's a poodle? Is that when it rains, you mean? You step into a poodle? What are some of the other popular hairdos these days?
Well, there's another one that's been quite popular, and that is the horse's tail.
Well, that's just at the racetrack, isn't it? What's a horse's tail? What does that consist of?
Well, a horse's tail is, again, an adaptation, and it is where the hair is smooth and sleek, drawn back, and tied with a ribbon or a band, and the hair hangs down the back. Very similar to a horse's tail.
Well, do you have to whinny when you wear that?
No, fortunately not.
No, you don't, huh?
Fortunately
What's considered the smartest haircut, a poodle or a horse's tail?
Well, there aren't near as many horses' tails as there are poodles.
Obviously, you haven't been around Beverly Hills very often. Mrs. Teddy Roaches, eh? How'd you ever get a name like Teddy?
Oh, my uncle was a personal friend of Teddy Roosevelt, and I presume they wanted another boy because that's what they named me.
And you got the name because he was an admirer of Teddy, is that it?
Oh, sure, was a good friend of his.
Mm-hmm. Where were you born, Teddy?
Well, that's very complicated.
Well, it usually is. Nobody has it easy these days, Teddy.
Well, unusual.
Life is grim right from the beginning.
See, before I was born, I lived in San Francisco.
Before you were born?
Yeah. And after I was born...
Many people prefer it that way.
And after I was born, I still lived in San Francisco. But
now, just a moment, How did you know you were in San Francisco if you weren't born yet?
But I know. My mother went for a trip, and she told me. So she went for a trip to Europe. And she missed the boat. The engine was broken or something, so she couldn't come back.
Your mother's engine was broken?
The boat.
The boat's engine was broken, and you were in Frisco, and you weren't born yet?
No. So in between, you see the two San Francisco stays. Well, I was born in Paris.
Well, that's clear enough for anybody but me. Well, judging from your accent, Teddy, you must have remained in France. Did you just get over here recently?
Oh, no, I was 2 weeks old when I came back.
Was your mother with you at the time?
Oh, sure.
Well, that's Paris for you. It's amazing what you can pick up there in 2 weeks. Now, come clean now. You just didn't get an accent from spending 2 weeks in France. What happened?
Oh, no, I went back there. When I was 5 years old, I went back to Paris, you see. Mm-hmm. And I went to the...
You didn't like Frisco? San Francisco?
Oh, yes, I did. But you see, when I was 5 years old, I just didn't have any
You had no choice
voice in the matter.
Well, what do you know? Are you French or American?
Oh, I'm an American.
Uh-huh.
You see, my great-great-grandfather came here in 1705.
Oh, it wasn't Lafayette, was it?
Oh, no.
How did you meet your husband, Mrs. Roaches?
Well, I went to take a friend of mine to the boat in Marseille.
This is when you were 2 weeks old?
Oh, no. That was after the war, after the First World War.
Oh. That's right, there were two.
And then I got lost. I got lost in the, amongst all the ships on the quay, you know. And then my husband came along and rescued me. So, and...
You weren't married yet, and he was your husband?
Oh, well, I mean my future husband.
Oh.
No, I tried very hard to get away from him, you see. After he'd known me a week, he wanted to marry me. And I didn't want to because I had 4 other fellows who wanted to marry me at the same time.
So you must have been pretty hot stuff, huh, Teddy?
I don't know why
You don't know why these 4 fellas were chasing you?
No.
Well, if we had more time, I could probably explain it to you, Teddy. Those French are pretty naive, aren't they? Well, this has been most interesting, and since we mentioned beauty tonight, my advice to you is to see the new DeSoto Fire Dome 8, because it certainly is a beauty, and I know because I'm driving one. Now, you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you'll get a chance at the $5,500 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The tree surgeon and his partner won $316.25, and the secret word is house.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected songs associated with famous vocalists. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
1950? Okay.
1950. Who made famous the song Over the Rainbow?
Judy Garland?
Judy Garland is right.
And you're on your way. You have $39.50.
All right. Remember, you're going for $5,500 tonight. How much of your $39.50 you're going to bet?
How much would you like to bet?
39.
39?
$39. All right. Who made famous the song When My Baby Smiles at Me? If you don't know, take a guess.
No, I know. Ted Lewis.
All right, that's right, Ted Lewis. Now,
You have $78.50.
all right, here's your third question. How much are you going to bet? You have $78.50.
Oh, 78.
All right, 78. Who made famous the song Thanks for the Memory?
I know, too. Thanks.
Come on, kids.
Oh,
Take a stab. If you don't know.
Kate Smith.
No,
Not it anyway.
sorry, it's Bob Hope.
Oh, horrible.
You now have 50 cents.
Oh, that's a shame. Here's your last chance to beat the other couples. How much of the 50 cents you going to risk?
All.
All of it.
All right.
All right. Who made famous the song When the Blue of the Night?
Oh. That's a good gamble, because I don't know.
Well, take a guess.
I don't.
It's Bing Crosby. Well, I'm sorry, but nobody leaves here with less than $25. I'm going to give you this one question. Get it right, and we'll bring your winnings up to $25. You ready? Who is buried in Grant's tomb?
Couldn't have been Grant.
General Grant is right. Thanks and good luck from the DeSoto Plymouth dealers.
We have a grandfather and a high school boy for you now, Groucho. Mr. George Bartlett and Mr. Billy Compter. Come in and meet Groucho Marx.
Welcome for the DeSoto Plymouth dealers. Say the secret word and you'll win $100. It's a common word, something you see every day. Grandfather and a high school boy, eh? Which one is the high school boy?
I am.
Oh, you are.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm Billy Compter.
Well, I'm glad to know you. Then this is Mr. Bartlett, huh?
You're right.
George Bartlett, huh? Billy, how old are you?
17.
And what is your age, Mr. Bartlett?
Oh, I'm only 91.
Really? He's got a grip like Jack Dempsey. 91. I thought he was 60. You certainly don't look it. Where are you from, Billy?
Philadelphia.
West Philadelphia?
No, I'm from any part of Philadelphia.
Oh, I see. Well, that's quite a trick, huh? Why are you from Philadelphia, Billy? Do you know?
Well, there's something about it. My parents live there for one thing, and I guess
Just for one thing?
That's pretty necessary. If they live there, then I live here.
I see, huh? And you were an accessory to the crime, is that it?
It was a horrible one.
I don't think so. I think you're a fine-looking lad.
Thank you. I think you are too.
Yes, but I'm telling the truth. Mr. Bartlett, what's your hometown?
Vineland, New Jersey.
Where?
Vineland, New Jersey.
Vineland, New Jersey?
Yeah.
That's near Atlantic City, isn't it?
Down along that line, yes.
Uh-huh. You're a grandpappy?
Oh, only 15 grandchildren.
Is that so? 15 grandchildren, huh? On a dead man's chest, huh? How'd you happen to get so many grandchildren? Were you working in the vineyard?
I have 6 children, and, they all got married. You know what happens after that.
Frankly, I don't, but I'd be willing to listen to it. What sort of work do your children do?
Oh, they're all doctors.
They're all doctors?
All doctors.
No wonder you're so healthy looking.
Thank you.
You don't look like you ever had a sick day in your life.
Well,
did you?
I was just given up to die some few years ago. I was quite ill, and the doctors gave me 3 days to live.
The doctors gave you 3 days to live? How long ago was this?
This was 53 years ago.
Well, for a doctor, that's a pretty accurate diagnosis. If there are any doctors listening, I'm only kidding. Now, Mr. Bartlett, to what do you attribute your phenomenal recovery?
California climate, principally.
More liars on this show tonight than we've had in years. What are some of the jobs you've held during your career, Mr. Bartlett?
Well, I started out kind of young, selling newspapers on the street right after the Civil War. And shortly after I had been selling the papers for a while, the people in the office thought that I would make a pretty good devil. And so they gave me a position as printer's devil. I worked there for a while, and finally I graduated from there and went to college. After I got through college, I went to work for General Electric Company, where I was made the chief consulting engineer. They generally gave me the jobs that no one else could do. And among those was harnessing Niagara Falls. They gave me the job of...
Were you there on your honeymoon at the time?
Oh, no, my honeymoon was past. I had the full moon by that time.
You say you harnessed Niagara Falls? What sort of work did you do when you came to California?
Oh, I dabbled in real estate.
And did you make any money?
Oh, about $1,000 a day.
Really? $1,000 a day? What's
7 days a week?
Is that so? You work Sundays too, huh?
Well, I tell you, I just worked all the time.
Say, you must have had a lot of money. How long did you keep on making this kind of dough?
Well, I kept on. I don't know when I would have stopped, but the crash came in '29, and I lost every blooming thing I had.
Well, I wouldn't feel too bad about it. If you hadn't lost your money in the crash of '29, you'd be wiped out in the taxes of '52.
Right you are.
George, I can't get over how healthy and young you look. What's the secret? Do you have a drink occasionally?
Oh, no, I don't drink.
Do you smoke?
Oh, no.
You lead an exemplary life, huh?
Oh, I don't know about that particularly.
I'm afraid to ask the next question. Now, Mr. Bartlett, do you have any special philosophy you must have to be so successful? Could you tell us what it is?
I don't know particularly, but some years ago I framed a little motto which I have on my wall. The words were like this: God and I are partners in this business. God is owner and I am steward. And I've tried to live up to that ever since.
Well, that's wonderful, Mr. Bartlett. I want to shake your hand. If everybody in this world had a philosophy like that, everybody would live to be 700 years old. Huh?
Well, we wouldn't have so many wars anyway.
No, we certainly will. Well, I'd say both of you boys have successful futures. Now, good luck to both of you. Now you're going to play You Bet Your Life. You beat our other couples, and you get a chance at the $5,500 question. I can't tell you how much you have to win, but George is going to remind our listeners.
The tree surgeon and his partner still lead with $316.25.
Here we go. Let's see how high I can build you $20. You selected observation test as your category. Here's your first question. How much will you bet?
We'll bet about 1950.
Oh, yes, I might just as well bet the $20 on that one.
Let's take 1999. We need it.
1999.
We can flip for the other.
All right, here we go. Whose likeness is on a 1-cent stamp?
Washington.
George Washington is right.
You're off to a great start. You have $39.99.
$39.99. How much you betting?
How much you betting?
33 cents for leaving.
All right, you're betting $39.96.
Swell.
Here we go. Is that all right with you, Mr.
That's
Bartlett?
Right, that's right.
How many rows of keys does the standard typewriter have?
7. No.
Talk it over.
About
one answer between you.
14.
How many rows? How many rows?
Oh, I see. Wait, we have one more? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 rows. 5 rows. 5 rows. 4. 1. What do you
One
think?
answer now.
7.
No. A, B, C. 5.
No, I'm sorry. It's 4. You hit it, and then you strayed away from it. Well, that's a shame. How much have they got?
3 cents.
You got 3. All right, now you got 3 cents. How much you going to bet?
Oh, we'll risk it.
You're going to bet the 3. The colors of the solar spectrum, as in a rainbow, are always in a definite order. What color is on top?
It's either red or blue. Which one?
Blue. One answer now.
Blue. He said
No, I'm sorry.
red.
It's red. No, it's red. It's red. Well, you did better this way. Now, all right. Now they're broke.
They're broke.
Nobody leaves here broke. We're going to give you one more question for $25. You get this right, and I'll give you $25 and no helping, please. All right, you ready?
Ready.
In what city was the Boston Tea Party?
Boston.
Boston is right. Put it there, Mr. Bartlett. Put it there. Sorry.
Well, Groucho, this couple went broke, so that means that the tree surgeon has partnered with $316.25 in just a minute. Get the chance at the DeSoto Plymouth $5,500 question. You know, when you buy a used car, the reputation of the man who sells it is often as important as the car itself. When you deal with a reliable person, like a DeSoto Plymouth dealer, known and respected in the community, you can be confident you're going to get an honest dollar's worth. It will be a car that not only looks nice, but has many miles of good, faithful service in it. And that's what counts. Of course, a DeSoto Plymouth dealer has many makes and models to choose from, in every price range. In addition, he has some used cars that he knows particularly well, because he sold them originally and has serviced them in his shop from the time they were brand new. So if you're in the market for a used car, now is a good time to buy. But here's a tip. Be sure to go where you'll get a fair and square deal, where you'll find the best used car values in town, to a DeSoto Plymouth dealer. Here's the tree surgeon and his partner, the winning couple, Groucho, all set for the $5,500 DeSoto Plymouth question.
All right, here we go for $5,500. I'll give you 15 seconds to decide on a single answer between you. So think carefully, and please no help from the audience. Here it is. Shakespeare's famous Romeo and Juliet is the story of two feuding families. Romeo's last name was Montague. For $5,500, what was Juliet's family name? All right, you have one answer between you now.
D'Artagnan?
No, I'm sorry. The correct answer is Capulet.
Capulet.
So that means the big question next week will be worth $6,000. That's the most money we ever had. Well, you lost the big money, but you won. How much did they win the quiz, George?
$316.25.
Well, congratulations and thanks to both of you and to all of our contestants on the show tonight.
Be sure to tune in again next Wednesday night at the same time for the Groucho Marx Show, when the big question will be worth $6,000. And don't miss Groucho's television show, also presented by the DeSoto Plymouth Dealers of America. And remember, all dealers who sell DeSoto also sell Plymouth. Two great cars, both products of the Chrysler Corporation.
And when you drive in, tell them Groucho sent you. Good night, folks, and remember, see DeSoto Fire Don't Make tomorrow.
Folks, here's a reminder from the National Safety Council. Make safe driving a habit. Check your car. Check accidents. You Bet Your Life, transcribed from Hollywood, is produced by John Goodell. Directed by Robert Dwan and Bernie Smith. Music by Jerry Fielding. This is George Fenneman signing off for the more than 3,000 DeSoto Plymouth dealers from coast to coast.
You are listening to Golden Age Radio, rumble.com/C/GAR. Brought to you by G3PL.com.
The Raleigh Cigarette Program from Hollywood, starring Red Skelton, with Ozzie Nelson and his orchestra, Harriet Hilliard, Wonderful Smith, and yours truly, Truman Bradley. Smokers, we do more than simply tell you that Raleigh cigarettes are outstandingly superior. We give you proof that you can plainly see for yourself. Compare the open ends of a pack of Raleigh cigarettes with any other brand. One glance proves that the tobaccos in Raleigh's are unmistakably more golden in color. And what does this mean? Unquestionably, that Raleigh's do give you the finer tobaccos, because any expert knows that the more golden leaf is choicer, more expensive. There is proof enough for Raleigh's unrivaled superiority. But here is even more. No less than 31 of these more desirable tobaccos go into Raleigh's exclusive blend, ensuring unsurpassed richness, smoothness, mildness, full flavor satisfaction. You couldn't ask. You couldn't get greater quality, greater pleasure from any other cigarette. But Raleigh's go even beyond that. For with Raleigh cigarettes, you get valuable coupons redeemable for dozens and dozens of luxury premiums. When you can get all this in one great cigarette, why smoke any other? Next time, get the pack with the coupon on the back, Raleigh cigarettes. Orchestra playing Put Your Arms Around Me. And now, we bring you Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's brilliant young comedian, the star of our show, Red Skelton.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and good evening. How are you, Truman?
Hello, Red.
Oh, I see from the looks of that suit you've lost another bet.
There you go, making cracks about my suit already. What about that mess of hemp you're wearing?
Oh, this is a hand-me-down.
Oh, from your father?
No, it's from my brother. You see, at night he breaks into a clothing store and hands them down to me.
Same old Red. I thought you'd be worried about the new gasoline rationing, Red. I read the papers and I'm worried.
You're worried? Here, take a look at my fingernails. Boy, if this keeps up, the government's going to ration me to 3 bites a week. All kidding aside, Truman, though, you look pretty good tonight.
Well, thank you, Red. Thank you. Tell me, did you have a nice summer?
Yeah, I went over to the Palladium Dance Hall a few times.
Oh, brushing up on your dancing, huh?
No, my whistling.
Pardon me, I say hello to my dear, dear friends.
Well, Ozzie Nelson. Say, tell me, Ozzie, what kind of a summer did you have? Did you meet any nice girls?
Nope.
Oh, lucky you.
I did meet one girl, though. She was in the Army.
Oh, she must have been a whack.
You said it. One false move and whack.
Don't you love Ozzie? He's so sincere.
Hello, Red.
Oh, Harriet Hilliard. My, you look nice and brown.
Oh, don't let that suntan fool you. It's only painted on.
Say, that reminds me. You know, I tried to paint some stockings on my legs like the girls do, you know.
You did, Red?
Yeah, but I could only get up to my ankle.
Your ankle? Well, you're supposed to cover the whole leg, Red.
I know, but that brush tickles. Say, what'd you do this summer?
Oh, I took a course in home management and cooking.
Cooking, huh?
Mm-hmm. Say, do you remember how soggy and wet my biscuits used to be last year?
Yeah.
Well, you ought to taste them this year.
Why, have they dried out by now?
Say, Red.
Red?
Yeah. Say, there's a fella out here to see you.
A fella to see me?
Yeah.
Well, sir, I'm glad to see you. Sounds like you've been taking lessons on that bazooka, Mr. Burns. Oh, Tommy Dorsey, I'm glad you came here tonight so we could thank you for the swell job you did for our sponsors, Raleigh Cigarettes, this past summer.
Well, thank you very much, Fred. You know, the boys and I enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah?
It was solid fun. Of course, you know, I can't tell jokes like you can.
Why do you think you got the job this summer? Well, Tommy, I'm really glad to hear that our listeners liked you so much the past summer that our sponsor is going to present you with your own new half-hour show for Raleigh starting tomorrow night over this same network.
Well, Red, thanks very much. And don't forget, you're doing all right now and everything is going on pretty swell, but don't forget to save your coupons.
Okay.
Our song tonight contains the line, mandolins began to play, and the writers have indicated that they want a mandolin effect to follow. Well, unfortunately, we don't have any mandolins in our orchestra, so would you folks be good enough to imagine that our trombones are mandolins? Thank you very much. He was a handsome young Irish lad, and she was a Mexican beauty. It was fiesta, and I might add, romantically he was on duty.
A boy and a girl 'neath the stars. I can tell it in 64 bars. His Irish heart went bingo when he saw the Rose of Juarez. Conchita, Marquita, Lolita, Pepita, Rosita, Juanita Lopez. Oh, you're a lovely thing, oh. For me there's but one girl, he says. Conchita, Marquita, Lolita, Pepita, Rosita, Juanita Lopez. Mandolins began to play. And her lips were there to kiss. As they danced, I heard him say, New Jersey was never like this. The bells began to ring, oh, as they rode away on a mule. To prove I'm not joking, if you're in Hoboken, stop in for a moment and you'll see Conchita, Marquita, Lolita, Pepita, Rosita, Juanita O'Toole.
Oh, and then there's little Teresa and Maria Elisa, and there's Patsy and Molly and Mike.
And there's Jose and Pancho and Pedro and Sancho and Tommy and Timmy and Spike.
Oh, and of course there are others. They're sisters and brothers. They're older, and they go to school.
There's no more to our song now, so we'll run along now. That's all for Lopez and O'Toole.
That was Rose O'Day. Sung by Harriet Hilliard and Ozzie Nelson. Come in.
Well, howdy, Mr. Skelton.
Well, trim my beard and call me Raleigh if it ain't Wonderful Smith. What's new, Wonderful?
Well, how about that $10 you owe me?
Nothing new, huh? You look wonderful. Wonderful. Say, is that a new suit you got on?
Yes, sir. This is my new Central Avenue sports suit.
Central Avenue sports suit?
Yes, sir. It's got turtleneck pants.
Well, the suit looks very good, but what's that lump in the coat?
Well, I bought it on the installment plan. That's the collector.
Say, tell me, does it look any better when it's pressed?
Oh, do you think the pants are a little baggy?
Baggy? I thought you were kneeling when you came in. Well, anyway, how have you been, Wonderful?
Well, Mr. Skelton, I've been pretty lonesome ever since them dim out.
Well, what's the dim out got to do with you being lonesome?
I can't find my gal. By the way, did you know they'd made me air raid warden on Central Avenue?
Air raid warden? I'll bet you wouldn't even know what to do during an air raid.
Yes, sir, I would, Mr. Skelton. If an air raid comes, I just go over to Joe's place and crawl under the slot machine and hide.
Under the slot machine?
Yes, sir. Nobody's ever hit it yet.
Well, I thought you'd be at the beach all summer getting a tan.
Well, is you kidding?
You know, I was a lifeguard down there this summer. One day I was out swimming and a man-eating shark came up.
Did you swim away from him?
I didn't have to. He took one look at my bony leg and he says, I ain't that hungry. know, you meet a lot of nice people down at the beach. While I was there, I saw a lot of girls that came walking by, and then they saw me.
What happened?
Same thing, only faster.
Well, I met one gal who was married.
Oh, really?
We sat on the sand and talked. Finally, I said, won't your husband be mad?
What'd you say?
And she said, I don't think so. This is him we sitting on.
Well, you know, wonderful swimming's a great pastime, so what do you say? Tonight we show different people going swimming.
Yes.
First we have Clem, the fella from the country. To him, there's nothing like the old swimming hole. Well, here I am. Oh, the old swimming hole ain't what it used to be, ain't what it used to be, ain't what it used to be. Used to be clean. Oh, what a beautiful sight. Just look at that sun shining down on that nice green fungus in the water. Oh, dee-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, boy, get a load of what's coming down the road, a bathing beauty.
Hello, Clem.
Well, what are you doing here?
Oh, it's kind of warm, so I thought I'd take a plop in the pond.
Well, Tracy, June, it's good to see you again.
Really, Clem?
Yeah, I just love to touch your hands. They're so soft and clammy.
Say, do you like me in my bathing suit? Ma says I have a tendency toward bow legs, Clem. You think so?
Bow legs, Let me take a look.
Well?
Did you ever pose for barrel staves?
Well, I'm glad to see you're swimming, Clem. It's good exercise, and you need it. Your stomach's looking more like a beer keg every day.
Well, it should. That's what I've been using it for.
Well, I'm going to dive in.
Okay, careful, that water's wet.
Come on, Clem, the water's fine.
No, I wish you wasn't here so I could take off my bathing suit and go swimming in my underwear. Okay, here I go. Is it cold?
No, come on in, it's great.
Okay. Are you sure?
Oh, Clem, don't be such a sissy. I'm only a woman, and I'm in.
Oh, well, you welders. I'll come in. Watch me do the Vincent Scadiddle stroke.
What's that?
I lay on my back and wiggle my ears. So watch me. Here it comes.
Why, Clem, that's wonderful.
Yep, ain't it though? The Navy wants to use me as a model for a new type mosquito boat.
Who's this coming down the way?
Save that rubber, bub. Well, look, it's Mr. Twinkle.
Hi, Daisy June. Where'd you get that pet seal?
I ain't no seal.
Well, you're balancing a red ball on your nose.
What ball? That's my head.
I've come to take you home, Daisy June.
Oh, no, you ain't, brother.
Now, boys, don't fight over me. I ain't worth it.
I know that, but it's the idea of losing you. Now, beat it or I'll punch you in the nose.
You'll do what?
I said I'll punch you in the nose if you'll put me down.
Now, boys, stop a fighting. I'll go home with the bravest one.
Okay, show you how brave I am. I'll go swimming in the swamp.
Well, what about them alligators?
Oh, I'm so tough they won't hurt me. I'll just stick my big toe in the water and show you. Oh, gee, my last toe, too. Then we have a fellow who's known as a night owl. He likes to swim in cocktails. All right, come on, serve it,
Stop it! Pipe down, stern old breath.
You've had enough. You got 3 empty bottles in front of you right now.
I don't recall ordering 3 empty bottles.
You drank them.
I drank the bottles. Yeah. What happened to the stuff that was inside of them?
Boy, you certainly are lit up.
Not like I usually am.
No, how come?
Dim out, you know. How are you, pal?
I ain't talking to you. I got no sympathy for a man who drinks like you do.
Look, a man who drinks like I do don't need any sympathy. Come on, give me another drink.
No, you'll ruin your stomach.
So what? It's only a recap anyway.
Listen, why don't you go home to your wife?
My wife?
Yes.
What do you think I am, a commando?
Brother, you're a pip at this. I repeat, you're a pip, brother.
Now, take your hands off of me.
I didn't touch you.
Well, then tell this guy to stop leaning on me then.
Nobody's leaning on you. You're laying on the floor.
Oh, well, then that explains it.
Explains what?
I don't know. What were we talking about? Hey, look what came in, a bathing beauty.
Waiter, is it all right if I sit here with my bathing suit on?
Yes, ma'am.
We had a very funny joke here, but it was censored. Say, you been swimming?
No, just taking a sunbath.
Hey, let's go swimming, huh?
You can't. There's no swimming pool here.
No swimming pool?
No.
What kind of a drugstore is this, anyway?
This isn't a drugstore. It's a beach club, and it hasn't got any swimming pool.
Hey, why are you opening that window?
Now, let's not get nosy, bub. I'm going to go swimming. Just for a laugh, I'll dive in with my clothes on.
Now, look, you dope, there's no pool there.
What's that down below me?
That's a parking lot.
Hey, get out of that window.
Watch me. I'm going to do a jackknife, brother. Here I go, right in the pool. Mighty hard water you have around here. Ozzie Nelson and the orchestra playing Rose O'Day.
Say, Red, Ozzie and I have written a new song. It's called 1, 2, 3.
Geez, it sounds like a romantic title. How's it go?
Well, I have the numbers scribbled on a piece of paper right here in my pocket. Let me see now. Yeah, here. Muriel Hempstead, No, wrong number.
Oh,
yeah, here it is. Ozzie has been working on the music for weeks, so I hope you appreciate it, Red. The lyrics start softly, romantic, like this, see? Smokers, it's easy as 1, 2, 3 to decide which cigarette should be your choice. That cigarette, without question, is Raleigh's. For one, Raleigh cigarettes give you the choicer, more expensive golden tobaccos. That's not just a statement. You can actually see the difference by comparison with any other cigarette. 2, Raleighs are blended from a selected combination of 31 of these better tobaccos. You can taste the difference in the rich, superior flavor of Raleigh cigarettes, their smooth, satisfying mildness, incomparable satisfaction. And 3, with all Raleigh's undisputed quality and superiority, you get valuable coupons. Golden coupons redeemable for a wide variety of luxury premiums, cash, or the equivalent in war stamps. Raleigh premiums are thrillingly desirable, gift-worthy, something for you to have and to hold as definite, tangible proof that Raleigh cigarettes do give you more for your money. Yes, it's simple as 1, 2, 3. To see that it pays in many ways to smoke Raleighs, next time get the pack with the coupon on the back, Raleigh cigarettes.
Pretty nice song. The words are all right, Truman, but the music drags a little. But as Katharine Hepburn would say, I like it, Raleigh, I do. Now, getting back to the bathing beaches, we have a lady and her little boy. So, they're at the ocean, so Harriet, you be my mother, and I'll be the mean old kid.
Now, Junior, you stay here with me.
Oh, I go and swim, and I shall wet me widow hand, I shall wet me widow feet, I shall wet me widow middle.
Junior, now stay here with Mother.
Okay,
And
okay.
stop walking like a toughie.
Well, I had to walk this way to impress that man I was just talking to.
What did he say to you?
Well, he asked me where I was born, see, and I didn't want him to think I was a sissy, so I didn't say I was born in a hospital ward.
Well, what did you say?
The Legion Fight Stadium.
Why do you say things like that?
I don't know. I guess I'm just a natural-born stinker. Hey, Mummy.
What?
Did the stork bring me?
No, we had you put together at Lockheed.
Oh, boy, look at that ocean. Boy, it sure looks rough, don't it? I wonder if there'll be an undertow.
I hope so.
Hey, Mummy, oh, look what's laying on the beach. A great big balloon. I'm going to run and jump on it.
Junior, don't jump on that.
Hey, get off my stomach. Sorry, old man. My mistake.
Junior, stop walking around on that man's stomach.
Hey, look, Mummy, I sink in clean up to my knees.
Now, you say you're sorry to the man, Junior.
I'm sorry, blubber.
Now, look here, Junior. We can't stay at the beach all day.
Okay.
We'll sit here.
Yeah.
Now, go play with your pail and shovel.
Okay.
And try to act intelligent for the rest of the day, will you?
Try me, but what do you mean? I am smart. You know what the machine gun said to the Jap? This'll kill you.
Junior, can Mother trust you to play in the sand while she goes over and gets a glass of water?
Water, teacher. I know what you going after.
I'm going after water.
Draft or bottle?
Any kind as long as it has a head on it.
You go ahead, Mummy. I will unpack the basket.
Leave that alone.
I better wind the clock, though.
Give me that clock and let things alone.
Oh, you have me, you have me. You broke me with your spine, you broke me.
I didn't touch your spine. I hit your arm.
You put all hooked onto the spine, you know.
Look at that clock. And I had it set for 3 so we could go home and wake your father
Yeah,
up.
Pop sleeps a lot in the daytime, don't he, Ma?
Well, his head aches from thinking so much, you see.
Yeah. Bumping into them lampposts at night on the way home don't help either, does it? Hey, you know, I think Papa's lazy.
Yes, I work over a hot stove all day, and what do I get? Nothing.
You got me.
That's what I said, nothing.
I could answer that, but it would only lead to bloodshed.
Now, you go play now, Junior.
Okay,
Come
I will
on.
go play.
Oh, here. Take your trousers off and play in your sunsuit.
No, me legs are too bony.
No, they aren't.
They're not? Now, how come little dogs follow me around with a bottle of ketchup?
I said, take them off.
You let me keep them on, or I will tell.
You'll tell what?
I will tell everybody it used to be a head meatball in a spaghetti joint.
Junior, where do you pick up such talk?
Oh, just listening to you and Pop.
Now, you be good, and I'll be right back.
Okay, I will sit here. Well, here I is, all alone. You ladies better remove your hat because you know something's going to happen. Boy, it sure is hot. I think I will reach in the basket and get me a sandwich. Boy, I love hot dog sandwich. Oh, I dropped it in the sand. I better take it down to the water and wash it off. I'm going to wash the sandwich.
Hey, young fella, don't go near that water.
Hey, don't you yell at me. Who you with?
I'm the lifeguard.
Yeah? Lifeguard. What are you sitting in that boat for?
Well, this is my speedboat. In case someone's drowning, I hop in and get them.
What's the matter? Don't you know how to swim?
No, I was born in Arizona.
Hey, let me sit in the boat, will you?
You won't touch anything, will you?
You don't know me very well, do you, folks? You know, I like boats. Me papa's a sailor.
He is?
Yeah. That is, the man from the finance company calls him the old skipper. Hey, let me sit in the boat, huh?
All right, get in, but don't touch anything.
Okay.
Or I'll take you out 12 miles and throw you overboard.
Would you?
I'll go get my robe, and then I'll be right back.
Okay. Oh, boy, ain't this a nice boat. Look just like an automobile. Uh-oh. He left the keys in it. It's a nice day for a wife, too. Well, why hesitate? I do it. Uh-oh, we moving. Mommy, come and get me. Mommy! Look at that thing go! Uh-oh, I'm heading pretty sure. Look out, the Marines is coming. The Marines is coming. The Marines have landed.
Don't you dare to listen to this announcement unless you smoke a pipe.
Pipe smokers, here's the password to a world of smoking pleasure. Sir Walter Raleigh. Sir Walter Raleigh pipe tobacco gives new life to any pipe because it's a perfect blend of perfect burleys, cured and aged to perfection to bring out its full, smooth mellowness, superlative nut-like richness. Never harsh or bitter, Sir Walter Raleigh burns cool, even, and smooth, with a pleasing, fragrant aroma that everyone enjoys. Try the quality pipe tobacco of America tonight. Sir Walter Raleigh.
Remember, we'll all be back again next week at the same time. Red Skelton, Ozzie Nelson and his orchestra, Harriet Hilliard, Wonderful Smith, and your announcer, Truman Bradley. Until next week, then.
This is Red Skelton saying goodbye now, and thanks for listening. And remember, servicemen are not allowed to hitchhike, so don't make them ask you for a ride.
Red Skelton is presented by arrangement with Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer Studios. This program, produced by Keith McLeod, is broadcast to our armed forces abroad and came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
You have been listening to Golden Age Radio.
rumble.com/C/GAR. Brought to you by G3PL.com. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos.
I would like to extend my sincere gratitude to Old Time Radio Research Group for their remarkable efforts in preserving and archiving the captivating world of old time radio programs. Their dedication to safeguarding these precious audio gems ensures that future generations can relish the enchanting stories, music, and entertainment of the past. Their invaluable contribution allows us to step back in time and experience the magic of radio history firsthand. Their link is in the description below.